Recording in progress. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your boys, Robert, R to the OB. In Rob we trust, the one and only Robert. And it is I, Santino, the one and only. Um, Sports games haven't hit the same as they used to hit. There's a lot of money grabbing going on in sports games the last few years. There's a lot of pay to win. There's just a lot of goofy stuff. They got TikTok dances in 2K. They're doing all that. They got, fear of God clothing that you have to use real money to buy in the game because you can't find it in real life. I don't know.
Drip.
Yeah, the drip of my players are more drip than any of these players that are playing the game. But I digress. Robert, when we were children, there was a special lineup of sports games that were different. They weren't your everyday Madden, NBA Live, even FIFA. They were the street editions of those games. It is now 2021. There's a crack on my iWatch. Hello. It is now 2021. We have been without these games since what feels like 2008, probably 2005. I could be wrong. I'm not really sure when the last NFL Street came out. I think that was the last one of all of them.
There was a NBA Street home court on the 360.
Okay, so we had one on the 360, home NBA Street. I didn't play that one. I played my last ones were NBA Street 1 and 2 on a PS2. Do us as sports fans just want this because of nostalgia, or do we need this in the sports realm?
So I'm just torn on the whole idea, because I think that games like that are very fun,
Right.
but they're also a statement, like a
Filler.
no. They're like a picture of the times. Um,
One of those things
like
really well back then and probably not now.
that will just culturally, like, you know what I mean? Like beyond like shit like that was cool because that was like cool in general. Like
Yeah.
that's why the Tony Hawk games worked so great back then, because everyone wanted to
Skateboarding was so
skateboard.
cool.
Skateboarding was cool. Extreme sports were cool. Like they're still cool, but they're much more niche than they were. Like they were mainstream cool
Yeah.
before, you know. And so I think things like and one mixtapes and street ball and just
Oh
the way
man,
NBA
and one.
players, the way NBA players looked back then,
Yeah.
um,
It was very hip hop.
really exactly. So that
Yeah.
really allowed like that to be the cool thing. So therefore, NBA Street or things of the sort are the cool thing.
Right.
So I don't think like sports fans don't want it. I think a lot of us want it because we know it and it's nostalgia and we
It's
also know it's
nostalgia.
fun.
Yeah.
But I do think I think it could succeed, but I do think I can see why they wouldn't necessarily be confident in it because it's not like what it was before.
Right. I feel like 2K tried to do it with their playgrounds game, but it was not even remotely close. They took a hard L on that for some reason. They're still supporting it. I almost just fell out of my chair, by the way. Um, I think for me, it's more nostalgia, like you said. I don't think I don't know if you put Drake on like the opening song of it and like made him the face of the cover or whatever, like when they promo it, people would flock to it. But it would be like there's no one else they could like music wise. It would have to be hip hop again. Like it
Yeah.
couldn't just be like some you throw on rock music and everybody's playing EA big games or NBA Street, FIFA Street, NFL Street.
Well,
Um,
what I think it is if you're gonna do it, you have to kind of do it with the same kind of heart. Like it's like with like the last Tony Hawk game for a while was like Project 8, right? And then a
yeah,
couple years ago they did Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5, and it felt like they just kind of threw something together and it turned out to be ass.
right.
While like last year they did Pro
They
Skater 1 and
remastered
2
it.
remake or whatever.
Yeah,
And like that was clearly you could tell they like really cared about doing it versus
right,
trying to just cash grab. And
right.
because of that, the nostalgia, then the word of mouth, it ended up being fairly successful. Although I
Success.
think they
Yeah,
closed those studios or whatever, anyways.
because it was like
But
THQ or something
I think it was
that originally
Activision.
had it. Yeah, and
Oh no,
Activision.
before it was like Neversoft, and then after back then, and then Activision have been in control of the IP or whatever.
Yeah,
But yeah, so like I think you could do stuff like that still. It would just be a because like even like NBA like 2K like you said, with the park and the playground, I feel
Right.
like has like the DNA of NBA Street, just from a perspective of just like the 3-on-3s, the look at how
Final,
cool
yeah,
my
one on
characters
one.
looks and
Yeah.
all that stuff. Like it has that in its DNA, but the difference is, and this is just something that I think, which is another reason why, like, not even necessarily through EA Sports Big, but that's just kind of the example. I think like there's a full lane for arcadey experiences.
Oh yeah.
Like we're really like focused in all across games about like realism. And I do understand why that became a thing because technology got better.
Got better.
And so
Right.
you're like, oh, look at how beautiful this is, look how immersive, whatever. But like at the end of the game, they're still video games, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, so it's like, yo, let's just fuck around a little bit. Like wrestling games, like a lot of people say the N64 era is the best era, but I like the PS2 games. But the early PS2 games and the N64 games, like they're just like really simple
Yeah.
experiences. While now you play the WWE 2K games and they're super like,
Realistic.
yeah, and that's like not fun. Like that's not as fun as the other
Because
shit.
when the N60, like you said, the N64 and like the PS2 ones were not what that is now.
Yeah, like they had a degree of like what or like
Difficulty, yeah, like the UFC
yeah,
games, they're so
they were
hard to
like
play.
yeah, like these like are like they're like that versus like those ones where like anyone just pick it up and figure it out because
Yeah, you hit
it
a couple
wasn't trying to
buttons
be a
and then you're making
yeah,
dude
it
tap
wasn't
out,
trying to
right?
yeah, it wasn't trying to be a simulation. It was just trying to be like a game. And
Yeah,
so I think about that with like racing games, how like I haven't played a racing game in forever because they're like super realistic and like kind of hard, like versus
and
like
that's why like
fucking
Forza Horizon is why I enjoy that more than the Forza Motorsport because
yeah,
I grew up on Need for Speed.
yeah. You
At
play
one
Need for
point, Need
Speed,
for Speed was more sim, but then our like generation of like the early to mid 2000s,
the
Need for
underground
Speed
ones,
turned into like underground and street
yeah,
racing, and it
because
wasn't
Fast
like
and Furious
all
came out
real.
because that was
Exactly, yeah, it
cool
was the
and
culture back,
culture,
like culture
like
again, right? I think building off what you said in regards to 2K Park has the DNA of it. If they made it look hyper realistic, like how 2K looks now, because that's 2K's bread and butter. Like Henley jokes about this all the time. You're paying $60 to watch them sweat. Like if you pay your $60 to watch them sweat, but you're getting the game style and gameplay of what NBA Street has, not realistic sim basketball. Like they're doing crazy crossovers off the board. What is it? The backbreakers. Um, no, what was it called?
oh,
Something
oh my
breaker.
god,
Is it not
bro,
backbreaker?
Jesus
I forgot what
Christ,
it's called.
what the fuck kind
When
of
the
video
meter is
did I
on
sign up
fire and you
for?
automatically score.
The Game Breaker, bro.
Game breaker, back breaker,
Oh my god.
game breaker. My
Catchy
bad,
ass
my bad, my
title.
bad.
Jesus
I don't
Lord.
know what my mind is right now. Anyways, you throw that in, like which they tried to do in that Playgrounds 2K game, but you give it to EA. I'll let EA do it. I trust them with it. I think it'd be fun.
Well, so my thing, why the reason why I feel like EA should do it is because NBA Live keeps failing. Like
I was gonna get to that. Yeah,
you can't make a sim that's as good as their sim, make something different. Like
right.
stop trying to like beat
Stop trying to
them.
force it out every 3 years.
Yeah, yeah,
Which
like
they take
okay,
a break. They bring one out.
yeah,
It
because
fails. They
they're like,
stop.
oh yeah, like oh we got it this time, then they don't, and then
Right.
they like fucking reset, and it's like cool. How about you just don't have it ever, and
Right.
you fucking take your ability to make things look good or whatever as good as you can make it, because their shit is always a little wonky compared to
Right.
2K, but still decent.
But like, if
And
we're being honest
that'll
here,
work.
majority of us
Or
grew up on NBA Live, which was EA. Like, we preferred that until like 2K5 or 2K6 when 2K got
yeah,
hyper realistic. Because a lot of us didn't
like the
grow up with the
yeah.
original Xboxes playing like 2K looked realistic on original Xbox, but everybody was playing live. Excuse me. And I just think with EA, it's another, like, to piggyback on what you just said, the only competition for 2K right now, basketball, is 2K. The only competition for Madden is Madden. Like 2K football is no longer there, which has been gone since 2K5. It was a phenomenal series, but it's not there anymore. If EA refuses to make another sports game outside of Madden and FIFA because they make so much money off the My Team, off the tokens, like how 2K does. If there's no money, and it's sad to say, but like unless you're a studio that does single player games, if there's no money to be made for a sports game outside of buying the game, we'll likely never see it. Like if NBA Ballers dropped today and you had to use VC to buy the house, the Bentley in the front, like to upgrade your whole house and all that, the tracksuits, it would sell
Oh,
like crazy.
but what I'm saying is like that's the reason why the whole thing is like so like it's like just like a missed opportunity. It's a slam dunk. It's so easy.
Oh,
Like
it would be.
you literally just pitched it right there. Hey, fucking play these games. Use like you can earn fucking pennies playing it out to get
Right.
your fucking stacks to try to make your house look good, try to make your player have super cool gear, or you can give us your money and buy the fucking tokens to just do it that way and have the best house so you can flex on people. Like it's super like you literally can take that whole thing that they already have, make
A
it a little more like
foundation. Yeah.
flashy. Like you take the like realistically, they should have taken the Saints Row approach because like Saints Row One was
Remastered
like
it.
a
Or not
normal
remastered.
like
We did
game.
it. Yeah.
I'm just talking about the whole like
Oh, in
franchise.
general.
It was like yeah, the first game was like a normal fucking like attempted GTA competitor,
Right.
and then the second, third, fourth just got
Was its own
fucking
thing.
goofy as shit
Yeah.
because they knew they couldn't
They
compete.
couldn't compete. Right.
So we're gonna do our own thing. So if you keep losing the basketball race, make a fun, goofy basketball game. Like in anything, like fucking anything from that era. Like I would love more fucking Need for Speed type games. I would love more
See,
like
but they've continued Need for Speed, and it's time to let Need for Speed go. I've played the last like
they've
4, maybe 5.
they haven't made one in a minute though.
They the what like 2 years ago a new one came out,
Did it?
and then there was one a year before that one. They did it like from 2014 or 15 to 2019. They had at least 3 or 4 games.
Really?
I've played all of them, and
I feel like I don't remember anyone past like Most Wanted.
oh, I don't blame you. But there was a. Fatima bought me it, and I bought the one before that. Fatima bought me, and I bought the one before that one. They did a remaster or a remake type Most Wanted in 2017 or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's to the point, like you had mentioned earlier. The culture of street racing was so prevalent because YouTube wasn't like crazy yet, and you would see these videos on like half-baked cameras and razor phones of like guys street racing, and they had the neon lights were cool and all that, and it's not like cool anymore.
Yeah.
And if they like me playing devil's advocate now, because I am a EA big fanboy. I love NBA Street. I would die for a new NBA Street. I think it would be a fun break from the realistic, like how Forza does motorsport to Horizon. You can either be hyper realistic and enjoy true racing sims, or you can be drifting a Lamborghini in Mexico in the desert, which would destroy your car in 5 seconds, but it doesn't. It's the best of both worlds. What happens after they re-release street football, street basketball, soccer, and whatever, maybe even you remember the baseball one where the guys could take steroids in the middle of the game and punch the guy in first base? There was a baseball. It was like NFL Blitz essentially.
I was gonna say that reminds me of Blitz, but
yeah, it was essentially Blitz.
Baseball one.
After they released this one, that's it. There's like nostalgia fulfilled. They can't make a living off this series anymore. Like they wouldn't be able to do obviously it wouldn't be a yearly thing.
Yeah, well, probably.
Could it even be an every 3 to 5 years thing? I don't think so.
I think the thing is, like, I think with the way people do monetization nowadays, I think if you can figure out how to build a community around those things, then you only need one game. Like, you literally can be like, oh, cool, here's these street events, these tournaments, here's these new characters. Hey, we're bringing back Exhibit's team. Oh, we just made a Young Money team. Oh, we just made the Migos team. Like,
Stop
literally, no, but like I'm
hey,
like being
sign this guy
though.
up. This guy actually,
like
these are good ideas right now.
I'm being legit. Like that's all it takes. Like because look at Fortnite.
Oh my God.
They have a fucking licensing deal with fucking Marvel and all these other companies, and they literally like every fucking 6 weeks are like, oh,
they just throw in skins.
And here's a new character. Like that's it. So like you can take
and a battle 2K, pass for unlockable for a Versace suit.
Yeah, you take these 2K influencers and get them to play this game, and then like you literally can even put them in the game one day and call it a fucking day, and it'll be a big deal to the fucking base. You know what I'm saying?
To the end of time.
Yeah, like they figured this. Like, not to. I hate like giving it so much credit, but like Fortnite is like legitimately created a blueprint that anybody can take if they do it well enough. Like
Yeah.
everyone doesn't do it well,
You
but
get the
like
right
the ones who
sponsors, you can make money off a battle pass, a
yeah,
million
like
bucks a
everyone has
month.
adopted the battle pass because
Yeah.
and like everyone doesn't work. The ones that work well, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's like you only need one game. Like I do think they could do like multiple years if it like is successful enough, like maybe not back
Yeah.
to back, but like once every 2 or 3, like update the gameplay like legitimately. Like just on some
Yeah.
goofy shit, like add different systems. Like the first Street had singular game breaker, Street 2 had game breaker twos.
Backbreakers.
Like
I really thought it was Backbreaker. That's my bad, bro. I haven't played the game since 2005. Give me a break here. Anyways, no, I get what you're saying. I get implementing a battle pass would be phenomenal. They'd make easy money.
easy.
Would it be a $60 game? I don't think the first one could. I don't think EA is allowed to release any sports games outside of Madden and FIFA that should be that not allow, but that like what's the word I'm looking for? I'm drawing a blank on the word. Like it doesn't deserve to be $60 because it's probably going to be lackluster. It's probably going to lack content. You know EA now, like they do the bare minimum with their sports games.
Yeah.
So would there be an online mode? Would it,
well, yeah, it would have to have an online mode.
It would have to succeed
for it to do all. Well, yeah, because again, like
and to
the
make
whole.
money.
If we're trying to
Yeah.
talk like how to make it sustainable, then yeah, it needs to have that component
Right.
to be monetizationable, whatever the fuck.
And for people to continue playing it, you need because once the story's done, you're just like, okay, that's it.
Yeah. These games like shit like that. Can it be $60? I think it depends on what it starts with. I think that's the whole thing. Like if you have like a story mode and like a arcade mode or like a whatever, then the online component as well, then yeah, I think you could probably charge 60. But like if you only have like an online mode, then you probably want to go free to play or like 20, 30. But
Yeah.
like, yeah. But like that's the thing too. Like EA has their whole EA Originals thing where they like let fucking other people make games and stuff that are like cheaper or whatever. Like It Takes Two came out from that. The
Very good
Dodgeball
game, by
came
the
out
way.
from that. Like they're letting other developers or whatever make things under their platform. So it's like literally you can put it under your like little indie label EA Originals thing, get the licenses, whatever you need to do, have that funded and drop it for $30 or something and it'll go.
I wonder with 2K being so prevalent and big, all those NBA shoes, Adidas, Nike, yada, 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 like all those license right now that they have are on 2K has it. When you go into your My Player and you pick your contract of Nike, Adidas, New Balance, or I think that Jordan, you see every shoe, like every basketball shoe, and that's a license for each shoe, especially if it's a signature shoe. I don't know how like EA can even get the players licensed anymore, let alone clothing, shoes.
I was gonna say I don't know if
brands.
I don't think 2K owns the NBA like exclusively when it comes to gaming and stuff. I think EA just doesn't make things because they're bad at it. Like nobody's allowed to make football games. Nobody's allowed to make baseball games or like good baseball games. But like I think anybody can make basketball games. They just don't because they've been bad. So I don't necessarily know if that's like a hurdle so much, but like again, like you can if obviously because I think the reason these things aren't happening is because like we just talked about, people don't know if it's like nostalgia or if it would actually work. You know what I mean? And so
they don't want to take the risk on it.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to take the risk. And like so I think you would have to release it pretty bare. So they wouldn't start it whatever at 60 or whatever, but say you started it for free or for 20, 30 with not barely any content, but like with a good online, good whatever, a fun or goofy story or some shit. And then it's like really fun, whatever, with a couple of customizables. If the first season works well, then it's like, okay, cool. The money's raking in. Who can we collaborate with? So you suddenly just take off from there, It's all in execution. I don't think it's impossible.
Right.
I understand like why
they don't do it
right now. It's a different time. Like
I think you made a really good point though. Like a lot of those current hip hop, rappers, that culture, like they grew up on that though. If EA were to be like, we're making this game and we want you to feature in it, they would do it in a heartbeat. I feel like
that's what I'm saying. Like literally, like you look at fucking things. Like it's so funny. Like like there's like this joke or whatever that's like heard where they're like, oh, before all rappers rap, they want to be hoopers. And
Yeah,
before
they
all
want to be
hoopers
athletes,
hooped,
right?
they all wanted to be rappers, which is why like you know what I'm saying? So like you literally could like get like you could do so much. Like you can like collaborate, like you use Drake as an example. Drake built a fucking basketball court in his home. You could be like, oh
Right.
yeah, like we want to add your home court to the new NBA Street game and da 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 da. And you know, you and your friends as a team, like for like a special unlock or something. And then like boom,
Team
like
Drake
that's
versus Team Kanye.
but stop. But like boom, you have suddenly all these
Right.
people who like are gonna watch it or want to play it because of Drake because they want to play on the OVO court or whatever the fuck.
OVO
And
court.
then you have fucking J. Cole who's like, oh yeah, we're gonna add the Rwandan team to
Sir,
2K.
Jermaine.
Yeah, and suddenly you have all those people like, oh, I can play with J. Cole like in a
So you wouldn't even need
video
NBA
game.
players official. This is like Def Jam. What is it called? The Fight Night one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You don't even bring it. You bring like TDE.
Bro.
You bring Kanye. Good music.
Well, you gotta make them like you know like they have to work. Like the Drake one works. The J. Cole one works. You could probably
Because
do
they're
the Migos,
basketball players. The Migos will work. Yeah.
Because Quavo is apparently like a super athlete.
Yeah.
Like
He like football and stuff.
like everything. He's apparently like good at all. So like,
that's a good idea. Like you don't even need the NBA player's license. You just throw in some rappers.
Well, no, you need both. You need both.
But it's a good idea though.
Right. With those people, like they're additions. Like
they're unlockables at the end of the game.
Exactly. Like no, with NBA,
something
NFL
to grind for.
Yeah, with NFL Street 2, it's like you get to the thing, you unlock Exhibit, and you unlock Nelly and the Saint Lunatics and shit. Like you fucking
what a time it was,
bro.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? What's that? That might have been.
I don't remember. I remember, or was it NFL?
It might have been NBA, but I know Exhibit was NFL. But Nelly,
Exhibit was because he was on the cover with Ricky Williams.
Yeah, so
for the Dolphins,
you could literally put them on the cover with like a couple athletes and like bring it back. You know?
Oh, this man's cooking. This man's spinning right now, ladies and gentlemen.
It works, bro. Like,
hey, EA, I'm telling you, you see this video, you got to cut Rob a check if he just gave you the blueprint, because
it's easy, bro.
We are OGs of the NBA Street generation. But Rob is cooking some stuff for you guys that he just lobbed. This is Lob City over here.
I've thought about this a lot. It's very serious.
It is very serious.
But you can bring back, like, not even just to bring it to street, though, like literally anything, like, not anything, but a lot of these things are still applicable in a way. It's just a matter of figuring out how to modernize them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, how to make it with the times.
Yeah, like I talk to Henley all the time, and he'll talk about how he misses like the Def Jam games, like for example. Like, and again, like they're still rappers. You know what I mean?
Right. The rappers that are in a video game and they love it.
The only difference now is that like I think people are more conscious of like their rights.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because like I think I was listening. This was like a year or so ago. I think like Joe Budden had talked about how he was in a Def Jam game and how like he received like $0.
Yeah.
Said like
they were like, you should just be honored to be in this game.
Exactly.
Your face is in it
now. You know what I mean? Like
no, they want to check.
Want to cut.
Right.
So like I can see that like being like tough to bring back, but like there's plenty of rappers you can spin it into something other than Def Jam if you don't want the label to be involved, whatever. Like
but then they're gonna start looking for these Instagram rappers, and then it's gonna be mediocre. You got Coy Leroy doing backbreakers in the game, respectfully, you know. But seriously though, like these dudes were doing like these games for the bare minimum at one point, if not nothing. Like Charles Barkley's not in 2K with the cast, the TNT cast, because they don't pay him. He said, why would I do their game, like the halftime show for 2K, if they're not going to pay me? And like Shaq, Kenny, and Ernie, it's like a 15-hour day they do of that mocap of them just sitting there like doing announcing stuff and doing lines over and over. And Chuck was like, you're not paying me. I'm not letting you use me for the Olympic team, and I'm not going to do the halftime show thing for it. So, I mean, the guys we named, especially like a J. Cole or even Migos, they're big. Especially Drake, they're not doing this shit for cheap, which would suck. But it's like if you said you could play as these rappers in the upcoming NBA Street, oh, that thing's going off the shelf. Like it's flying. That's getting so many downloads so fast. You don't even have to show me gameplay. I'm gonna buy it.
Well, I was gonna say, like, as long as they have like the OG like style of it. Like, yeah, that was
Right.
something. I need to see a little gameplay. I need to know. I need to know that like
It can't
I
be
remember,
the 2K playground thing.
no, straight up when the NBA playgrounds came out, people are like, "Oh, they're bringing back whatever."
Everybody was
I
like,
looked at
"Oh,
the
they're
game.
doing Street," and then they played it, and it was horrible.
Yeah, I was like, "That's not Street," and people are like, "Oh, it's closer to NBA Jam." And like,
You don't.
I don't remember.
Final question for this, because this is not going to be a long video. We just wanted to get our feelings out with our nostalgia again. Is this something where they release the three major sports in this franchise to be like, we're on the ground running, we're committed to this, or do they just do like basketball to test the waters? Because they're not going to do FIFA first, and I don't think they do NFL first.
You start with basketball for sure.
Because that's the only one. They don't have a basketball game currently.
Yeah, they don't have a basketball game. I think it's probably the most beloved of all of them. Like there's, like I said, there was FIFA Street, there was
a fan
NFL
base
Street,
for every one of them.
There was again the Def Jam games. I feel like are in that category.
Man, EA really had it going on with like sports games in their prime.
They
were
just making games like
even outside of like
world. We're just
like Fight Night was phenomenal. Madden used to be phenomenal. You know, FIFA got better over time. FIFA wasn't always as good as it was.
Oh, FIFA's like probably the only one that they like universally praised for at this point.
Yeah, and NBA Live was good until like 09 maybe. Oh, I think T-Mac's cover or Dwayne Wade's cover was the last good one. But it's just like EA to me, and I said this in one of our videos. I don't know if it was because we were younger and I didn't know any better, but like my best memories gaming wise were EA games, where like it had the EA logo, in my opinion, because EA had everything. EA had racing, EA had every sport, EA had Star Wars. You know, EA had just so many games you could play, end to end sports, story game, you name it. And now it's like EA releases a game, and I know it's with the times and the internet and whatnot, it just gets destroyed immediately. So like I feel like if this gets announced, and it's not, this is not a speculation of EA Big is coming back. This is just us talking to talk. I feel like people would immediately just be like, "Oh, look at EA with another money grab, a half-baked game." You know, it's because they don't have a basketball game, they just want to make a quick dime and be done with it. But I don't know. That's just the internet. I hope in our life we get one more NBA Street. I think it would be cool with all the ideas you just gave it. I think, you know, if I knew someone on the inside of EA, I would send them this shit right now. And I'd just be like, you guys got to listen to this. You got to go with what Rob is saying. You can bring him on board and let him be co-producer director of all that. You get to meet all J. Cole, Kanye.
Right, I'm the Ronnie 2K of NBA.
Yeah, you're the official Instagram influencer. Oh, I'm gonna be on my fuck Ronnie 2K is gonna go from that to fuck Rob. I'm gonna be hated.
Oh, this hate for no reason.
I'll be like, wow, they're sending Rob to all the events courtside and he's not doing shit.
Man, this man can't even hoop, I bet.
Right, yeah, this dude stinks. No, but Fergs, I appreciate you taking the time. It was nice talking to you. I will talk to you tonight for our video about the PlayStation event that's going on. We will have a second video coming up shortly after this video. So you guys stay tuned for that. Fergs, take it easy. I'll see you tonight, and I will see you this weekend. Bye, Robert. John Cena, you can't see me. Peace.
All right, relax.
Okay, backbreaker.